Okay, so we're gonna talk about why people don't change. Okay, and that people include us, include me. And it took me a very, very long time to figure that out, because when we are when we have certain problems, when we're suffering, we all say we want to change, right? We all say, oh, I wish it's different. I don't want to be this way anymore. I would like to change. And then we try, right? We have we try many different ways. Um, and then sometimes things get better for a bit, and then it goes back the same. So I have a little bit slide, and it's more for my own note, but I'll share with you. Okay, so based on my own experience and knowledge, I come up with 4 hidden causes why people don't change, why people remain stuck. Okay, how do I? Okay, great. Okay, so ask yourself this question. You don't have to answer me. It's for you to acknowledge where you are. Are you stuck in some way, somehow? Okay. As far as I know, lots of people are, including the ones who paid to attend certain programs and to see a concert, to do things, or they try different things, acupuncture, yoga, meditation, but then somehow things get a little bit better, maybe when they are seeing the counselor, when they're doing certain program, but then after a while they slide back, they just gradually slide back to their old way. And that's what I mean by stuck. And then you might get comfortable for a while, maybe nothing's happening, so you feel less pain. But then when something happened, and something always happens, there will always be a situation that reminds you the old way. Maybe some family conflict happen, or some crisis happen, and then it reminds you, boom, like, I still feel the same way. I still feel the same anger and despair and anxiety and disappointment. And then you feel you have wasted time, right? Because you have spent the time, like including attend our program, attend the class. It's also your time. And then you wonder, where did the time go? I spent 8 hours, or I spent 12 hours or longer attending a program and talking to someone and learning CBT, and you paid, and then where did it go? Like it's like a waste of time and waste of money. And then the worst thing is you're disappointed with yourself. You wonder, like, why? Like, I thought I learned. I thought I understood everything. How come no actual change happened? I still end up in the same place. And then what is the same place? Usually it means you are preoccupied. You are preoccupied with anxiety or ruminating thought. You kept thinking about the same thing, and you kept having the same fear. And then what that really is you missed out. you miss out on the joy and the happiness you could have in your life. If you don't have the anxiety, you could have be more open, you could have relate to other people more easily, you could have made more friends. Or if you didn't have the anger or resentment, you could forgive, and then you could have relationship back, and you could have better relationship with your family, and then you could be more present. You could be more here and now and just enjoy. We hear that a lot, but actually, for a lot of people, it's foreign. For many, many people, they don't know what is living here and now because they're so used to being preoccupied. And that's what I talked about before the recording started, is we live in the past. We lived in the perception that we already have even before age 2. And then we kind of just repeat, even though there might be different things happening in life. You met different people, you grow your family, grandchildren were born. You thought, well, yeah, my life has much more than when I was 2 years old. But unfortunately, if your perception stays the same, your pattern stays the same, and then you pretty much, there's a same pattern. It just repeats itself, even though the roles, the players might be different, but it's the same script. It's kind of your life script. Okay. And then eventually, again, this is something people don't admit, but it happens, is they secretly give up. They secretly settle to how things are. And then, they still try, but secretly they don't believe think anything would change. And that's what I mean by giving up. So, some people, they regularly attend classes and they do stuff, but somehow it's kind of just doing the motion, just like moving with the motion, but not like, secretly they don't really believe they could change. Okay, so why is that? Okay, why is change so hard? We all want to change, but why is it so hard? Here we go. The first secret. Okay, this I would never admit before until I really, really see it. So actually ask yourself, do you have arrogance? Do you somehow have some sort of pride about your problem? Have you ever said these things to yourself? Well, my problem is unique, it's different. Well, my problem is too big. Oh, I have childhood trauma. It's too deep. It goes way back. It's too complex. Oh, it's been too long, too whatever. Or no one understands. I've tried everything. No one can help me. And because I work with older people, sometimes it's too late. I'm too old. And sometimes not so old people think that too. Okay. If you ever said those things to yourself, there's actually arrogance. They actually just means arrogance, period. Somehow you think Your problem is so unique and so special, no one could help you. No one could understand. And that is arrogance. In your world, yeah, it's so big and so difficult to understand. So in your world, that is true. But think about your nervous system. Think about your biology. Is your nervous system different than the next person? Do you not have the frontal cortex, the limbic system, the brainstem, the sympathetic and sympathetic nervous system? Do you not have a heart? Do you not have blood pressure? Do you not have any of those things everyone else have? You have the same nervous system. That means the internal reaction is the same. You go through the same process. Maybe it's expressed a little differently. And for you, it's so puzzling. You don't understand. But that's because when you are trapped in your own problem, you're at the age when those perception, when those feelings first begin. And that is before age 2. And at that time, you have no ability to understand or to express. That's why it felt so big and so special. And that's why it's so overwhelming and so complex, because for a 2-month-old baby, or for a baby before it was born, that is the case. But if you really believe that, that is pure arrogance. And as long as you hold the arrogance, nothing will change, right? Because that means you have to let go of your pride. If you ever allow someone to help you, if you ever allow things to be different, that means you have to give up all of this. You have to give up believing my problem is so unique, nobody would understand. My trauma is so deep, nothing would help. Or I am like, I already know everything. I have tried everything. I have a very dear friend. She took her own life when she was very young. And at that time, she believed she's tried everything. And she did try everything she knew. She saw family doctor regularly. She saw a psychiatrist. She was taking medication. She was seeing counselor. She was going to church. She prayed, and she has lots of friends. She's a very, very nice person. She's like, she had hundreds of people attending her service, and she was so young. And it was such a shame. She died in despair. She died because she believed she had tried everything and nothing helped. And that was not true. That is not true. There are much more. There are much more to life. There are way more ways that we don't know. So, it's like you cannot try everything in the world because life is limited, right? So it's the same. You haven't tried everything. Yeah. So what is the antidote to arrogance? I broke this big news to you. You're arrogant. That's the number one reason why you don't change, because you're arrogant. Okay, and I know it's very hard to swallow. Well, it took me, I don't know, it probably took me 45 years to admit that I'm arrogant. It's it's the it's the most difficult thing to admit, because we don't want to think ourselves that way. Okay, but yeah, but what is the antidote? What is the antidote to arrogance? Because we don't just want to talk about the secret why you don't change. We also want to talk a little bit about how you can. So
maybe courage of asking for help, or courage of reading or learning.
Vulnerability.
Good try, Dorothy. That not really. Okay, what did Mike say?
I kind of expanded on courage, just said vulnerability or humility.
Okay, vulnerability and the humility, that's good. That's good. That's not, well, it's almost like you need to have that vulnerability and the courage to come up with the antidote. The antidote to arrogance is gratitude.
Oh, great.
You can't be grateful and arrogant at the same time. Really, think about it. You can be vulnerable and arrogant. That happens, when we let ourselves be a little bit vulnerable. We just showed a little bit courage, and then we thought, oh wow, I'm a good person. I showed up. I showed myself. Oh, I'm being vulnerable, and somehow we're very quickly go back to that arrogance. Yeah, because we have all been there.
Right.
But if you are grateful, if you're truly grateful, then you cannot be arrogant at the same time. And a lot of times people tell other people to be grateful, and they're mad at other people for not being grateful. But here's another secret. When you are mad at someone else for whatever they do, that's because you have the same quality. You're doing the same thing. That's why you're so mad. That's why it pushes your bottom, because you're seeing your own reflection. Okay, so there's a lot to it, because we all say, yeah, I should be grateful. Oh, I am grateful, gratitude and all that. Well, but at the moment when you feel like a victim, when you feel you have been wronged, when you feel life has treated you unfairly, it's very hard to have that gratitude from the bottom of your heart, to be truly grateful. That is actually the hardest thing to do. To let go your pride, to let go everything you hold down to. And that is a process. Okay. So the next secret is secret gains. What do we gain? What do we gain from our misery? Okay, I'm not talking about financial gains, although actually lots of people, they do have financial gains as well because of their suffering, because of their conditions, whatever problems. There's actually financial gains. They might not be conscious of it, and I wouldn't say anyone intentionally hurt themselves so they can go on disability. But if you have some conditions, some problems to begin with, and there's a gain, there is a certain level of gains. So close your eyes, and I'm gonna ask you these questions, and again, you just answer to yourself. Okay. How do you get attention? And when? When do you get most attention? Okay, you can take a mental note, or you can write it down. It's the answer is usually very simple. Okay. Next question. How do you define yourself? When I ask you, who are you? What kind of person are you? Besides your job titles, besides your education, besides your relationship, like you're a father or a grandmother or wife or son, besides that, how would you describe yourself? What's the first thing you would say about yourself? Okay. When do you find your uniqueness? Where do you find your uniqueness? In other words, how do you find you're unique? And who listens when you talk about your problem? Who listens to you? Who listens to your problem? And the next question is hard. Who will be stuck with you as long as you have your problem? In other words, as long as you have your problem, they will stay. They will stay with you. They will try to help you. And then the last question, what do you get out of your problem? Again, it will be very simple answer, maybe just 1 or 2 words. What do you get out of your problem? So you can open your eyes now. So those are the secret gains. Only we know. We don't advertise this. And the second secret and the first secret, they often make a pair. I'll give you an example. once a man came to me and he talked about how much he cared for his wife. His wife had lots of mental health issues and she's suicidal, and he felt responsible for her. He felt he cannot leave her because if he left, she would kill herself. So for her wife, the secret gain is I get to keep my husband. I hold him hostage with my problem. Look, I need so much help. I can't live without him. So he can't leave. If she gets better, if she's no longer suicidal, he will leave. And for the husband, well, she can't live without me. I am so important. I have to look after her. I'm responsible. I'm so big. That's arrogance. And it's a perfect match. Kept them together. So they can both be, spending hundreds of hours talking to a counselor or therapist. But do you think anything would change? No, nothing would change. And then it serves another purpose. It serves another purpose to prove that, wow, look, my problem is so big. I've seen, this and this and that counselor and nothing helped. Look, it's so big, it's true. And then, for the wife is, oh, I'm so helpless. Oh, this is hopeless. Oh, because no one could help me. Again, that also serves that purpose, that arrogance. So, it's hard. It's a very hard reality, and it very rarely you would hear people tell you that. Because why? Why do they want to go out of their way and the risk being blamed by you, being risk taking your anger? So usually people just kind of just, okay, just let you be. But that's the secret. Okay. And then the next secret, comfort. We like to stay in our comfort zone. Honestly, whatever is familiar is better than something not familiar. So I found the expression, better the devil you know. It's comfortable to lay on the couch and read a book, or to sit behind the screen and watch someone else talk, and or just enjoy whatever other people prepare for you. It's comfortable. It kind of felt like, oh, you did something. Oh, look, I'm reading so many books. Oh, I'm attending this program. Oh, I listened to this talk and that talk. But again, that's what you're familiar with. It's the comfort. You get to hide behind something. You hide behind your book. You hide behind your intelligence. You hide behind the screen. You don't have to put yourself out there. That is comfort. That is what you're familiar with. If you really start changing, you will have to step out of your comfort zone. You have to put yourself out there. You have to show up. And that's, for a lot of people, show up is so difficult. They would pay for a program and they miss half of it. They don't show up. Well, but then they say, but I tried. Look, I tried. But as long as you still stay in your comfort zone, nothing's gonna change. Okay. The fourth secret, it runs the deepest. All the previous three secrets, they're more on your personal level. That is about you. That is your quality. But the fourth secret, it's not just you. It's more systemic. It involves your whole system, your loyalty to your family, your loyalty to your system. That is a totally different level. Our problems are often our ways of showing love. Think about how you describe the parents. If you think of 3 words to describe your dad, what would be the 3 words? Again, you can write it down to yourself. I'm allowing you to stay in your comfort zone. Okay. And then think of 3 words to describe your mother. Now write down 3 words describe you. Are there similarities?
For sure. Yes.
Yeah. Even if you use slightly different words, but a lot of words, they mean the same. And when you really look underneath, it's, there's a lot of similarity. And why do we do that? Didn't we want to be different when we were kids? Didn't we all say, I don't want to be like my mom. I would never want to be a woman like my mom, or I don't want to be like my dad. I'll be better. Yeah. But you know what? The truth is, we love them. We love them, and we want to be the same. We want to be like our people. We want to be like our family. And a lot of people, they would even say, well, my mother has anxiety too. My father has that too. My whole family has it. So in other words, it's normal. It's normal to have that in your family. It's like a badge you wear. It shows that you're part of the family. You're part of it. You're one of them. that it's a lot of times we show our love by carrying the same problem, by carrying the same pattern. We carry it on, almost like a torch. We carry it on and we pass it on. Because your children, your grandchildren, they also love you. And they will do the same for you. Until finally one person change. The change has to start somewhere, and the most likely it starts with you. I know Mike is reading that book, It Didn't Start With You, or It's Not Your Fault, right? And it's a very popular book, and it's great in terms of introduce this new idea about how we show love and the loyalty to our family. But you know what? I hear many people say that they tell their children or their niece or nephew to read the book. So they don't read the book, but they want the next generation to do it. You see how that's being passed down? Say, oh, I don't do it. No, I don't want to look at it. I can't do it, but you do it.
That's
And
like
I
being
just gave it to my dad. And I just gave it to my dad, and he said, "Did you read it?" And I said, "Well, I read the first couple chapters, but you should read it."
exactly, do it yourself,
Mhm.
right? But you know, if you don't do it yourself, for sure, your children and your grandchildren will do it for you. They will willingly do it for you, even though they're not conscious of it. Even though they say the opposite. But again, remember, it goes back to before age 2. Actually, every soul. Okay, I don't know if you believe in soul. I do. Every soul, every spirit, before they come to this body, they already made an agreement. They already agreed. So they will do whatever it takes. Yeah. So again, that is a different level. And since we came to this family, this is what we're born to. This is what we're born with. And then a lot of times we remain stuck because we're loyal to our family. So we don't want to just change and get better. You know, if for generations the women in my family was suffering, I don't want to betray them. So I suffer as well. Even though I struggled and I tried different ways, and I get higher education, I marry a different man than my dad, but if somehow I still suffer, and then so secretly I can say to my mother, I'm just like you. That is the loyalty. And disease and illnesses, it also has a different meaning. It also connects us with our family. Now the science say, oh, a lot of disease is genetic. It's inherited. You can say it's genetic from a biology point of view, But you can also say from a spiritual level, disease and illness is also like a family symbol, like a badge we wear. Oh, my dad has heart illness, so I have heart illness as well. You can hear that from how people describe their problem. It's it's taken for granted. My dad has this, so I have this. It's like, yeah, that's the way it is. So we already subconsciously make that connection. It's like our disease and illness, it makes us part of our family. So the big question, and that is the question often you cannot find out on your own, is for whom and for what do you continue to be stuck? Being stuck actually takes a lot of energy. Think about how much time and energy you spend on thinking about your problem, dealing with your problems, living with your problems. A lot, right? Just the amount of time you think about it, it's already a lot, and never mind you're living with it. So it takes a lot of energy. That means there's a lot of love. You must love someone or something in your family a lot, that you're willing to continue to be stuck. So that's what I prepared today. Any questions?
So thinking back when I was younger, I didn't want to smoke. Both of my parents smoked, right? And I thought it was a horrible, messy thing to do, right? And so I didn't develop some of the illnesses that go along with smoking. So sometimes I am, I love them for sure, but at the same time, habits and environment cause you to make decisions that you change. And I'm proud that I was able to change and not do that.
Okay. So you didn't show your loyalty by smoking and having lung disease, but how do you show your loyalty? What runs in your family?
Oh, like habits such as independence, hard work.
Pride.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some arrogance there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're all frustrated with our parents somehow. They're so set in their way.
But there was a reason they set in their ways, right?
Yeah. And now you defend that.
True.
Yeah. Now you willingly defend that. And your children and your grandchildren will do the same.
Really?
Yeah. So
I have a quick question, Ming.
Yeah,
That's okay.
go ahead.
When you say all this, it hits hard. Like It's like, oh yes, this is all true for me for sure. And then when I think about loyalty to my family and that being a cause for all of the things that I battle, I can see it. And then so the when I think, okay, so what do I do about that? And I don't know it, because what immediately comes to mind is I'm like, well, I just walk away from my family. That's fine, cool, I can do that. But the that's probably not the answer. So what is the way forward?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people do that, right? I think we all know some people, they cut their family off.
Mhm.
So physically, they remove themselves away from their family. They don't talk to their family for 20 years. We have all seen that, or they become a monk, or they go to a meditation retreat and just stay there. Okay. The truth is, the more you do that, the more you're entangled.
Mm.
The more you physically cut off something, cut off your family, the more you inside you remain with them. And that's why you will need 20 years in retreat to keep that. And that is another form of not moving forward in life. And in I don't know, it almost feel like in Christianity tradition, it's almost like you're paying a repentance for your family, because they're so unevolved and so unaware and so low, so you have to be so spiritual and so advanced, so high up there.
So the answer then is to connect with your family in other ways. Because if you remove yourself physically, then you only connect via the connections you already hold within yourself that are hurtful and cause pain. But by connecting with them in other ways, you don't need that connection anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. The more you push something away, the more it's stuck with you, right? So if you don't talk to your family for 20 years, then what memories do you have for your family? What feelings do you have for them?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you had 20 years ago,
Right.
it never changed. Right? So that is what stuck with you. You don't create new memories. You don't create any new possibilities. You just, in a way, you preserve that. That's preserved forever as long as you live. Because think about it, our family is in our body. Where do you get your genes? Right? Your parents got it from their parents and then passed it on to you. So in this body, we actually carry all of our ancestors, the great grandparents, and then come down to great grandparents and grandparents and our parents, and then then it comes down to this body. So actually there's no way to escape. But how do you connect with them differently? Well, again, that is not something you can just do intellectually. That is something you have to experience. You have to have different experience. You have to somehow create a new experience for yourself, and then you can start creating new experience with them. And you might say, okay, my parents are long dead. So how do I create new experience with them? Well, you still can. In your mind, in your feelings, you can experience something different with them. If when you bring up your parents in your mind or your grandparents or whatever, you could have a different feeling. Then you are creating new experience with them. And that is a lot of work. It's definitely not something you could just, where was that slide? That's definitely not something you could just lay on the couch, read a book, or hide behind the screen and listen to someone else talk and could achieve. Okay. So I do have a program that aims to help people to go through the process that you need to go through. Let's see. Can you see it now?
Yes, Life Beyond Anxiety, a 6-month journey to live a life that was meant to be.
Yeah, so it's a 6 months program, and it's aiming to help people learn different way from how to protect your own energy and feel safe with other people, to resolving deep-rooted family issues and find the best path to a healthier and happier you. How do I go to the next? Okay, so it includes an individual session part and the group part. Individual sessions is to help you focus more on what you want to talk about, your particular issue and things that you don't necessarily want to share with a group yet. And the group session is more of designed exercises and activities for you to have the overall experience and the skills you need to have. A lot of times when we are so devoted and so involved in our family's patterns, we lose our sense of self. We can't even see beyond that. So a lot of times people have no boundary. They willingly give away their time and energy to other people to help, or whatever patterns you have. So the first thing is you need to learn how to protect your own energy. That's in my experience, one first thing you need to learn. And then you can learn to relate to other people in safety and with clarity. So in other words, you stop taking on other people's feelings and the stuff. You stop mix up your own thoughts and your own feelings with other people's thoughts and feelings. And then you can start working on the relationships and integrate. So that's the program. And I don't have, you usually for this kind of program, actually, if you are exposed to coaches or other type of service on the internet, this would cost thousands of dollars. Like honestly, you can look it up. Actually, there are lots of Facebook ads. Yeah, there are lots of coaches and lots of things like this out there, including the author of the book. You know, it didn't start from you. Yeah, it would cost a lot. And well, I didn't mark up my price and then say I give you a discount. This is where I start. So yeah, this is the actual price. If you want to have just the individual part, that's $960. That is my regular rate. And if you just want to do the group part, that's $480. It's honestly, it's like dirt cheap in this world. Okay, and if you sign up to both, you even get the group for half price. So that's it. Yeah, thank you, Mike.
And thank you, Ming. That was wonderful.
Okay.
I'm glad I was able to, you know, connect with you today. It helped. I've got lots of thinking to do.
Yeah, well, feel free to contact me later. You know how to find me.
I do.
I hope I will have the opportunity to actually walk with you through that journey.
Okay.
It's way beyond what I can convey through just talk.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.